On 20th May 2014, Malawi goes to the polls to elect the president, members of parliament, and councillors. The warm heart of Africa, as it is proudly known, has a youthful population comprising more than 9 million children and youth, representing 60% of the entire population. Realizing the various challenges Malawian children and youth face and the opportunity the elections in May present, for the first time in history, local child and youth organizations, together with UNICEF, conducted a series of interface meetings with children and youth in the country. The meetings conducted nationwide by Malawi Human Rights Youth Network, Timveni and UNICEF were aimed at gathering issues affecting children and youth of Malawi. On 15th March, the three organizations gathered children and youth from ages 5 to 24 at Crossroads Hotel to set priorities they want presidential candidates to focus on once they assume office. They included reducing neonatal mortality, improving education standards, improving health services, and ending child marriage. Other priorities included improved facilities to help children with disabilities and decreased youth unemployment.
How can we make these problems go away?
The Children's Conference led to a stakeholders meeting where the thoughts of children were properly presented to set priorities and targets.
Improved access to more youth-friendly health services, reduced adult, infant and maternal mortality rates.
The stakeholders who participated included human rights organizations, organizations working with children in Malawi, and children and youth activists.
What we want is that commitment from the president that at national level, this is what we're going to do for children.
Following the stakeholders meeting, UNICEF, Timveni, and Malawi Human Rights Youth Network invited all contesting political parties to present them the priority areas as set by the children. The parties were also presented with a commitment letter, which each presidential candidate had to sign.
I think we need to work towards keeping girls right up to tertiary education.
Are we realizing that there's a lot being spoken and there's no information to the girl child?
But when you are empowered, you've empowered the youth, then you should not be demeaning them.
UNICEF, Timveni, and Malawi Human Rights Youth Network invited all contesting political parties to present them the priority areas as set by the children. The historical event took place at Bingu International Conference Center, where all presidential candidates came and met face-to-face with the children and youth of Malawi to commit themselves to the initiative. The parties were also presented with a commitment letter, which each presidential candidate had to sign.
Today is an important day in Malawi. It's the first time in history of this country that all presidential candidates will sign a letter of commitment.
It's time the people of Malawi started placing us as a priority. It begins with you, our leaders.
This was a milestone for the youth and children of Malawi, as for the first time, all political parties acknowledged the challenges the youth of Malawi presented and agreed to their priorities and their targets.
Promise that I, my brothers and my sisters with disabilities, will attend school by putting the light facilities in our schools.
Promise that no child in Malawi will ever again learn under a tree.
Mutilonjeze kuti mudzachita zothekera kuti ife atsikana tidzamalize primary ndikupitiriza maphunziro athu.
It was exciting and moving to see presidential candidates giving full attention and priority to the children and youth of Malawi for the first time.
I should thank you, the youth of Malawi, for having taken this initiative.
I'm hoping that after May 20th, whoever is elected president, and if I'm elected president, I pledge to work with you for the betterment of this country.
There is no way any country has the kind of demographics feature that we have in Malawi can ignore the youth and believe that they can actually do very well.
If we don't work towards these milestones yearly, force us out before the completion of our term of office.
Some presidential candidates even went as far as to revise and promise to beat the targets set.
I commit to life. I want this change to life. I commit to ensure that 1,000 live births will translate into 1,000 children.
I commit to reduce the chronic malnutrition rate, stunting, from 47% 20%.
To increase primary school enrollment rate among children with disabilities from 19%, I think even to 50%.
To reduce the student classroom in all primary schools from 107 pupils per classroom to 60 pupils per classroom, we may go down to 40.
After reading the commitment letter, the presidents put pen to paper as a sign of total assurance to uphold their promises once they're elected and assume office.
9 million plus are the children. We are the people that can bring about the needed change. 60%. 9 million plus are the children. We are the people that can bring about the needed change.
This event was the first of its kind in the political history of Malawi. Indeed, there is strength in numbers.
Dear children and youth of Malawi, I recognize that more than 9 million people in Malawi are below the age of 24.
This makes children and the youth the majority,
representing 60% of the population.
I also recognize that you are the hub of Malawi's social, economic, and political development.
Thereby making you, the agents of change.
Nevertheless, you are a group that has been overlooked
in resource allocation and marginalized in the decision-making process.
Despite the above, Malawi signed the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child in 1991
and the African Charter on the Rights and the Welfare of the Child in 1999.
Obligating the state to ensure the full enjoyment of all your rights.
As children and the youth, you deserve leaders that will prioritize your needs,
aspirations, and listen to your voices.
With these commitments, I, Joyce Hilda Mtilabanda.
I, Arthur Peter Mtarika.
I, Atipele Muluzi.
I, Kamuzi Chwambo.
I, Aaron Davis Chester Katsonga.
I, Friday Anderson Jumbe.
I, Abusa Helen Singh.
I, Professor John Eugene Chisi.
I, Mark Katsonga Piri.
I, George Nessa.
I, James Nyondo.
I, Lazarus McCarthy Chakwera.
Make the children and youth who are Malawi's majority to be my priority.
They are the priority. 9 million Malawians are the people who can bring the needed change.
60%, 9 million plus are the children. We are the people that can bring about the needed change. Tikufuna soko